Oh, I need a little bit more music before I get started, guys. I need to be fired up a little bit more. One more intro and let's get started, guys.
Mississippi Queen, if you know what I mean. Mississippi Queen, call me everything. Way down around Vicksburg, around Louisiana Valley, met a Cajun lady called the Mississippi Queen. You know she was a dancer. Ooh, better on what a president dudes was a getting naked. Brother making party, now a losing night. Mississippi Queen.
If you know what I mean, guys, that's what I'm talking about. I need a little bit of music to get me fired up. We don't have any Mookie clips anymore, so I gotta play some stuff that's gonna get the vibe starting as we are doing a live stream tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We're gonna start off by saying hello to our friends. We got 30 Danny first in the chat who's asking if I'm running a show called Tantera. Hopefully, Mike the Snake will swing by. I sent him a text. Him and I were on producer Mark's earlier talking cars, and it's always good to talk watches and cars with Mikey. Got an acquired taste who says HR is headhunting Luxy. BC letting us know that it is pure shit. We got Logan Hall in the chat, and I see a Logan Hall. Rich Mitch, who's got some watch questions, needs some help with watches. We're going to help you today, Rich Mitch, because today we're talking watches, drama, and disappointment. Maybe all three at once. We don't know, Rich Mitch. We'll see how it goes. We got one you see it now. When you see it, I think everybody fucks up your name like when they first see you in the chat and they try to pull something up. It was like one UCLT for a while. Even I thought it was one UCLT. I'm sure there's video of me saying that as well. I think the absolute best that I've heard so far was producer Mark yesterday when he called you one occult or something. Like, so one occult in the chat, guys. One occult. We got obese pork slayer who says Lux is infinitely more appealing than angelic. That's saying a lot about angelic. So look, what obese pork slayer is referring to is we do have a poll going. I started off the stream with a little bit of a spicy poll because there's a lot of talk, a lot of chatter in the Archieverse, on the Archie channels, around the Archie channels, in the periphery around Lux, and everybody's maybe complaints. I don't know if it's Festivus, guys, but the Archieverse seems to be a little anti-Lux, and I kind of asked the question to the group. I said, what would happen if Lux wasn't here, right? Like, what do you think would happen? Is the first option was, is the morning show just going to disappear, right? Is it just going to go in? 75%. We only got 24 votes, so I'm going to give people some time. I'm going to be on for a couple hours, guys, so sit tight. We got a lot to cover today. No morning show, 75%. Angelic would annex the slot, 17%. I don't know if I voted for that one. I don't remember. But that would be the one I probably would have voted for. And then we got AC3 would do the morning show, which is in dead last at 8%. And I think the fans, I think you guys got it right on that one. But that is what the obese pork slayer is referring to. I highly encourage everybody to vote in the poll. Let's have a bit of fun, guys. It's a little bit of fun. There's no ill intent here. We love Angelic. This isn't a dig at Lux. We're having a bit of fun. But hey, I thought, hey, we're on the Archie Luxury stream. Archie's not on today, so might as well make it a little spicy, boys and girls, a little spicy. So, who else do we have? We got Jimmy in the chat. Nice to see you, Jimmy. Appreciate you being here, helping me out as the mod of all mods. We got JD MTL. Is this a dream or reality? Who's running away? Where did the good people go? Or do I mean cunts? All right, JDMTL, referring to Archie Luxury, KW, a good start to the evening. Thank you. I see you, KW. Appreciate that. Joe Bling, I have no idea how you have survived in the chat so long, right? So for those that don't know, like Joe Bling and I, he's not really, he's been around for a long time. Like he's always around, and he often sends in the spicy chats like we all do. And Bear always nukes this guy, like always nukes this guy. And I don't know if he thought for a long time it was me because he started like pointing. I was like, man, I find yeah, Joe Bling can go a little far, but I don't know, man. I think look, maybe Bear's away. I don't know, but it's good to see Joe Bling. Thanks, Patek Philippe. So I have an okay. Thanks, Patek Philippe. So I have an Explorer 40 mil. I'm wearing an Explorer 40 right now. It's kind of the watch I wear when I'm doing these shows, so I don't want to, if I'm potentially banging my wrist on something, I don't want it to be my Pateks. I have an Explorer 40 and a vintage Santos now, selling the Blancpain 58. Okay, what does my collection need to round off three-piece? Okay, so we've got a daily driver sports piece. We've got a vintage Santos, which honestly, for me, Rich Mitch, vintage Santos could even be your dress piece, given sizes and whatnot of vintage sizes. So, you got your daily sports watch, you've got your dress piece. Honestly, I don't think you were off in the idea of considering high horology, Rich Mitch, because I know that it's not something I would always recommend to somebody to round off a three-piece, but I know that you are looking into it. And that doesn't have to be, big money. I'll show you guys so Rich Mitch asked me a while ago what I thought would be the best watch at around the 10K mark. I didn't find one right at 10K. High horology, but it was pretty close. A good friend of the channel, a good viewer, Corrado Galizia, not last year, but the year before, I was watching this auction on Moda, and it was on this watch. I'm going to pull it up here in a second, and I ended up going for a really good price. I'm not going to disclose how much Corrado got it for. I don't think that's really neither here nor there, but around that price point that that Rich Mitch is looking for, and for me, I'm on, it's a Vacheron. I'm on Vacheron's website. I don't really understand. Oh, here we go. I'll pull one up here. So I'm talking about the Vacheron Traditionnel manual wind. And this watch, for me, Rich Mitch, it can be had for close to that price that you're looking at. You may have to spend a couple of grand more. But realistically, look, you got your Explorer 40, right? That's going to cover almost your entire week, whether that's, whether you're at work or whether you're retired and you're just, going about the house and that's how I wear my Explorer 40, by the way. It's the one watch that doesn't really go into the watch box. It will just be on my wrist. It'll be on my dresser, my nightstand, whatever. But I try to wear it like it's intended to be worn, right? Because so many of us, we just baby our shit. And, for me, I was like, fuck, of all the watches you don't baby is a fucking Explorer. So, I would say that you got that cover for your daily. Your Santos special occasion, right? That's why I said it could be your dress piece as well as a special occasion piece. Vintage watches, don't really recommend wearing daily, but you wear it when you really want. It's a special watch. I would say that's your special watch, right? And then lastly, I think you've been looking for high horology, and that's why I said the Vacheron Traditionnel is a great watch. It's less than Patek money for the 5196. You got small seconds. I think these are 37. Mils, if I'm not mistaken, Rich Mitch, 38 mils, actually, not 37, 38 mils. I'll put one up here on the wrist. And yeah, just a really nice watch, man. Like I got to try this on in New York when Corrado, I remember seeing Corrado say, hey, man, I saw that you won the auction and can I check it out? And yeah, I love this watch, man. Like really, really good for the money, really good bang per buck, high horology. And not really a crazy price, right? You're in the Trinity without crazy money. What's going on, Sam? Nice to see you. Is it too early for anytime's too early for AC3 to run his show, bro? Like we know that. We got Punisher in the chat. Yo, NATO. I don't know what the fuck happened to your wrench, bro, but I'll get you that wrench. We got Watch Nicholas with the wrench. Now, I did call this out yesterday that I was pretty sure because Archie reads a message on the streams yesterday, right? Because we're doing watches, drama, and disappointment. So let's talk a bit of the drama here. Archie receives a message saying, I would really like it if you wrench Watch Nicholas. And that message didn't come from me because, why would I send Archie a message? I would just wrench the guy, right? And then like, I don't know, like fucking 10 minutes later, the narc shows up. And I sent it a super chat saying, this was your price, narc, to fucking come on the show was a wrench for Watch Nicholas. Like, I don't know, you seem like a fucking cheap date or something. But anyways, Archie admitted it on the show. You guys can see it. The clip is there that it was the narc, because Archie now has the narc's number. But that is why Watch Nicholas, guys, has a wrench. We got Dodger in the chat. Nice to see you, Dodger. Joe Bling is a dickhead. Look, I just find it hilarious that, like, Bear, it's like Bear wakes up one day and sees Joe Bling and just nukes him, But Joe Bling would have been, like, here for, like, weeks, just fucking talking shit. So it's just, I don't know. I got a little soft spot for Joe Bling here, I guess. Yeah, man, Rob Filmer, I thought, hey, Archie's like, we're not going to do a show. Look, if I could do a couple of hours, right? I can't, obviously, stream at the same slot he does, because it gets a little late for me. But I thought, hey, if I started around 5 my time, people would be getting off work, they're driving home, maybe making dinner or whatever. And yeah, we just have a chill stream. I could talk watches. We could talk some bullshit. All good, man. All good. Yeah, like, I know Nick also is a big fan of the Explorer 40. Clive, the rancher, has an Explorer 40, as well as who the fuck else? Toyota Moa is an Explorer. There's a lot of people. Bear, like, a lot of people have this watch. Look, is it like the fucking hype? Like, I'll tell you, Nick, like, at work, I have a lot of colleagues that are into Rolex. And, even though they're like, one guy was showing me a Milgauss the other day, and I show him my Explorer, and he's kind of looking like my Explorer is, like, fucking way beneath him or some shit. So look, it's not the flashiest watch. It's not the hyped watch, but look, I think it's a fucking really nice one. For that, Tan, I'm looking at a red vignette diamond dot dial two-tone Datejust. Red vignette. Danny, if you have a reference, drop it in the chat, and then I'll pull it up. I have a few things I wanted to go through and cover, but yeah, let me just see if I can catch up here on the chat. It's mostly the same folks. We got Nelson Oliveira in the chat, and I see that watch boy. Always great to see this guy. He had been away from the channel for a long time, and he is chilling with us. Cali Trava, such an awesome watch. Yeah, so a couple topics. Kind of first topic, maybe let's talk about watches. Minute repeaters, guys. Minute repeaters. I'm going to be showing a couple watches from the auction that just happened at Phillips, and there's some minute repeaters that I want to talk about, and Sunneries, grand Sunneries, and important that. Funny enough, if you ever ask Archie, I think Archie knows it now, but like about 6 months ago, I know he didn't know it. But differences between like a Sunnery and a minute repeater. So just for the sake of the audience, a Sunnery, whether grand Sunnery, petite Sunnery, which are just different intervals. So just kind of think of it as the same. But when you think of a Sunnery, what is a Sunnery? A Sunnery is a chiming watch, just like a minute repeater, a minute repeater. And the difference between a minute repeater and a Sunnery, either grand or petite, is on a minute repeater, it's actuated. You can see here on the screen, on the left of the case, you can see kind of like a lever or something, like on the right of the case here on the video. And on the left here, that's what you kind of push down, or you actuate to to actuate the minute repeater sequence with the gongs. That's what in a minute repeater you actuate it. On a Sunnery, it chimes on its own. So Sunneries will have silence modes or mute modes, you could say, because if you don't have that on, the Sunnery will keep chiming at the intervals that it's supposed to be at. So big difference. Now, I even thought before the show, like, which one would I even prefer? Like a minute repeater or a Sunnery, right? Do I want it to chime all the time? But I'm like, fuck, I could just mute it, right? Like, it's kind of cool to have a chiming watch where I could just unmute it or have it go into the chiming mode, and it does this thing. Or do I really want a minute repeater, to actuate on my own, but pay probably a big premium for that? So interesting thing. These are really kind of questions that the ultra rich would think about. Like, I think for the average watch collector, it's not really going to cross your mind. I mean, I'd say the cheapest. I asked him also this question a few weeks ago on the Watchbox stream, or 1916 Company stream that he does, and I asked, like, I said, Tim, what's the best entry level minute repeater you would recommend? And there's two. Like, I already knew the answer to this one. Which two they are, and I'll show you guys which they are. But I'll show you the first one here, and it's the IW, and this is the one Tim also actually recommended, was the IWC Portuguese minute repeater. And I'll pull this up for you guys on the screen. IWC Portuguese minute repeater. you can get these for around like the 40K mark, 45K for a minute. I mean, it's not cheap. It's still a fuckload of money, but I mean, we're talking Patek Philippe minute repeaters in the $500,000 range and other shit, right? Like minute repeaters do not come very cheap. The other option was the JLC reversal minute repeater. Tim preferred the IWC, but in minute repeaters, it's what's really, I'd say what's paramount is the sound. And and this is where, and this is why every minute repeater that leaves Patek Philippe's factory is actually inspected by Thierry Stern. Obviously, there's not a lot of them. What a lot of people don't know is generally minute repeaters are not water resistant. There's not even 30 meters water resistant. They're generally moisture and dust proof. That's it in minute repeater. I know Russ, if you're listening, Russell 996 has a minute repeater. We're going to get into the topic of it in the auction, but I did want to kind of highlight the difference between a sonnery because, often when you hear watch shows and people talk about complications and stuff like that, when I was first watching these kind of streams and you hear, stuff like sonnery, grand sonnery, all these different calendars and stuff like that, it was hard to follow. So I always like to preface it by assuming that, people in the audience may be completely new to this and or may be totally interested in getting to high horology and don't know where to start because Higgy make it a little bit too difficult to understand. So I like to break it down to a simpler denomination, a simpler lowest common denominator. I would say lowest common denominator, and then make it easy. All right. So Danny does have a reference, 1989, 16233. Let me see here, 1989, 16233. Said red. I don't know if it was called red dot. Oh, I know what you're talking about, the vignette. Yes. What the hell am I thinking, man? I know this watch. Yo, this is sick, man. I'm gonna pull this up for you guys. 19. Okay, so this is from 1989, Danny. Fuck, this is nice, man. I really like this dial. Like, this is really nice. Like, look, diamonds aren't for everybody. I mean, obviously, Danny likes, he does like, watches with diamonds. I do as well. Yeah, this is really nice, man. I think this would look really good on the wrist. 36 mils. There's a lot of bullshit on YouTube that 36 mils, is not an appropriate size for a man. I think that's stupid. Especially in the date just, right? Date just, date date. I mean, these are dress watches, guys. Like, I would say the ideal size for a dress watch is between 36 and probably 40 millimeters. I think that anything bigger than that on a dress watch is a little ridiculous. Anything smaller than that, I would agree, is too small. 36 to 40 in a dress watch. For a sports watch, I would say 38 to 42 are totally fine. I've owned a Blancpain 54, which is 37. You can probably go to 37. But I'd say, the modern collector, the modern enthusiast that's looking to buy their first, sports watch, 38 to 42 mils, I would say will be good for most people. And 36 to 40 if you're into the dress watches. Yeah, but this is a sick one, man. I really like this one. Dodger, I got a 1988 white dial, 16013. Got to sell it, never wear it. Look, I've owned a bunch of plastic. I don't even know if that's a plastic one, but I think might be sapphire, but I've owned a bunch of plastic date just myself. This is probably more for Danny. I own a 1603, 1601, 16030. Like, I've owned a bunch of them. I've always loved the 36 mil date just like the 36 mil day date. I think I asked Archie this question once, like a few weeks ago, saying, which watches would be iconic in the 36 mil size? And, the Explorer is actually one of them. Interestingly enough, like, Explorer fans are like very diehard about the fact that it's in proper form in the 36. Now, I've worn a 36 mil Explorer. For those that know, Jin Tingler, Vintenier, he's always been a big fan of the Explorer. That was like the watch he was known for, and he always wore the 36. And look, it is, I would say, comparable to the date just. I would prefer the date just in 36 or the date 8 in 36, but at least from an icon perspective. But like the Explorer, a lot of people are very pointed about the fact that the Explorer should be in 36. You don't get, like, Archie didn't agree with the date 8 being in 36. He prefers the 40. Look, I know there's a lot of fans of date 8 40s. I'd say the only date 8 40 I actually tried on, I think, was JJ's when I met him last year. And look, I love it, right? He had a beautiful, I think it's a silver dial, date 840, yellow gold, really nice. He was on his way to He was on his way to Atlantic City, and he just bought his FP Journe, and he knew that I wanted to see the FP Journe, right? But he said, "Look, Dan, I'm going to Atlantic City with my boys. Like, I'd rather wear a nice, Atlantic City watch, which is a day date." And I'd agree, man. You're in the casinos, you want to wear a nice day date. Day date 40 is cool. It's a big watch. I own like a Datejust 2, right? So I can't really say really practicing what I preach in certain cases. But, for me, I think the day date's great in 36, the Datejust great in 36. I would prefer the Explorer in a 40 sports watch, a bit bigger. I like that. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the way I see it. We got Keslowitz in the chat. Nice to see Kelso. Spoke to Keslowitz on the phone today. He's trying to set up. By the way, Keslowitz is trying to set up potentially a Bay Area meetup. So hopefully, and there's a lot of people in the Bay Area, right? I'm not doxing nobody because it's well known. We got Toyota Mo, big 49ers fan. We got Mike the Snake, my boy P Cars, who I met in the last Bay Area trip. And a few other guys, right, that may not or may not publicly tell where they are, but I think Kessel, that's going to be a great, potentially a great meetup, man. And I'm going to try my best to make it out there, and hopefully Dirk Diggler, who's probably bouncing around whatever other streams are on right now, bouncing back and forth, would make the trip up from SoCal with you, because that'd be great. Yeah, Bay Area is. It's look. I had a great time, man. I went out with Mike the Snake, Toyota Mo. Had a great, just quick dim sum lunch, and what's going on, Kelso?
Yo,
tell us about this Bay Area trip, baby.
what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Did I just blow up your? Did I blow up your plans?
No, it's good, dude. The more the merrier. We're trying to rally the troops. Yeah, I've put together. I'm trying to see who would be available and who's down to do a meetup. Because here's the thing, guys. We all love Mike. Mike is a pillar of the community, right? But Mike's never going to come out to any of these meetups, So we got to bring the party to him. So I'm thinking, we got plenty of guys in Northern California, and with enough, heads up, I'm sure we could get people from all over to head out there.
Yeah,
so I'm
man,
trying to see who's what everyone's schedule is like. It's a little tricky with the holidays coming up. It's kind of like we either do something next weekend or we wait till January, February. But the weather just is going to keep getting worse, But we'll see.
What blew my mind when I met Mike was like, I asked him. I said, Mike, how many people have you met from the Archieverse? And he's like, honestly, probably like 2 or 3, including Archie, right? Who he met when Archie came to the States years ago. And obviously a bunch of folks live in that area, and I don't know if they do anything like that often enough, but it was like Toyota Mo's first time, and Toyota Mo lives there, right? Like, although Mike, has arguably said he doesn't exactly live in San Francisco, he lives around the area.
Right.
But yeah, look, he's salt of the earth, man, that guy. It was so cool to meet up with him. We just, had a nice lunch. And honestly, sitting with Mo and Mike, it was like when we go to these, and Kelsey, you've been to a bunch of these events. It's not just watches. We talk about the Archieverse, the characters, the beefs, the dramas, just the boringness, all that stuff. We talk about everything, right? And but you're like, it's like literally like you can't talk this kind of stuff with anybody else. You can't really talk to your spouse about this kind of shit, right? So it's.
Yeah, it would be good times. You were saying how it was fun when you went up to visit him. So I think it'd be cool to, he's out in wine country, so we can go do some wine tasting. And
that's what I was telling you earlier. I said, look, why don't we? It'd be cool to do something in San Francisco. San Francisco's great. It's a great town. But you're right. Wine country. We could go up there. Maybe do some of that with Mike. And yeah, it'd be a good experience. Some good video for the channels. Whatever channels these are going to be on. And, it just shows
a little gonzo for Archie.
Look, the drama, some folks get a little too wrapped up into it, right? Too emotional into it. When they really come to the events, the meetups, that's when you see just the enthusiasm around, the shows and the amount of people that come up to me, right? And some of them, I don't even know who they are. I'll be honest with you, because they don't often introduce themselves. They'll just be like, oh, I'm Jordan, or I'm Kelly, or I'm whatever, right? I don't know who they are, from their names on the screens and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, I loved what you did in this segment. And, it's just cool to see that, right? Because people are so enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So whoever's interested, hit me up on WhatsApp. And what I think we'll end up doing is maybe something in January. We'll have to see what everyone's schedule is like, but I might just shoot out there next weekend and just do a small little gathering, a little exploratory Gonzo meetup.
Did Mike turn up to the lunch with Tim? Nah, Mike was. I'll tell you, JT. So Mike calls me. He's like, "I'm at this Chinese restaurant, and I got my GPS on and everything. Right? I'm driving. I know how to fucking get around." And he calls me and he's like, "I'm waiting outside." He's like, "I just want you to know where it is." I'm like, "Mike, it's cool, man. You know, because it was cold, man. And like, fucking, it dropped like 20 degrees from where I was, more inland to like San Francisco." And poor guy was standing outside in the cold. But that's the kind of guy he is, right? He'll make sure he'll walk you to your car if you don't know your way around. Like, he's such a nice person, man. Like, that's why I told Kelsowitz, I'm like, man, you gotta meet Mike the Snake at least once in your life.
I can't wait. It's gonna be good times.
This is one man I do need to help with his anti-socialness, right? Like Bear, look, I think Bear wanted to come to Watch Time New York this year. He told me he wanted to come. The fact that he didn't come was
he was
really
jealous. He was jealous.
Yeah, but look, he wanted to be there with us. You're absolutely right. He told me, I talked to him during the event, and he was like, man, like, I really, I really wish I was, a part of it, but Archie didn't come and stuff like that. So Bear Clooney says, hello from Toronto from Bear and Mikey, your favorite friend and your favorite dealer. Yes, this is a mutual friend of ours named Mike. Bear, tell Mike I said hello. A good friend of mine, someone I've known in the Canadian watch collecting community. He's one of the big Canadian dealers here, and runs a. If you're Canadian, you want to buy a watch, check out Toronto Watch Exchange. Good friend of mine named Mike runs it, and yeah, just really cool guy. But yeah, look, Kelso, I think it's gonna be fucking great, man. You gotta meet, if you're an Archieverse fan, you gotta meet Mike the Snake at least once in your life. Like,
oh yeah, and he promised me a ride in the Porsche if he still has it.
Look, and I always tell people I'm never gonna miss a chance to potentially smoke a fucking blunt with Mike the Snake, man. I ain't gonna miss that chance. And look, completely legal in California, all good.
When in Rome,
we're smoking and crushing some food, man. Like, but yeah, look, Mike is he's so enthusiastic about cars. Toyota Mo actually brought he brought Mike's favorite watch. The Vacheron Overseas, the 4500 blue dial. Toyota Mo has one. I brought Mike a Seiko actually, which is kind of, I feel like fucking Mo shows up with like a fucking Uzi, and I show up with like a fucking pocket knife or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, and dude, it was just so cool to see Mike kind of put on his Grail and just like look at it and inspect it. And he was like, I'll tell you, man, he was taking a hard look at that watch, really considering like, fuck, should I part with $20,000 today for this shit?
Right. He'll come around one day.
Definitely. But yeah, man, I'm just chilling, talking watches, talking some minute repeaters.
Dude, are you going minute repeater? What is this up your alley? Is this? I mean, what? These are like $500,000. Now, what do these go for?
Oh yeah, these are easily $500,000. No, it was a topic that I was talking to another collector around the auction that happened, the Phillips auction that just finished in New York. And they were asking me a question. They're like, why would somebody pay double retail for the minute repeater that went for auction? I'll show you guys in a few minutes here. And I kind of said to them, I said, well, it could be a lot of things, right? It could be it's the brand itself buying those watches at auction. Patek Philippe's known to buy watches. Now, a bit of a strange watch for them to buy, but it's just a possibility, right? You've got the situation of, because he's like, well, somebody who can spend over $1 million on a watch, could probably just buy whatever and get that watch from Patek. And I'm like, not really, man. Like, even if you're VVVVV, triple V, quadruple VIP, there's certain things you just can't get. And if you're the type of person that really wants something, well, fuck it, right? You're not going to wait in line. You're just going to be like, fuck it, I'll just buy at the auction for double the retail. You won't get to give a shit, right? So different kind of buyer, right, Kesselowitz? Like, different kind of buyer. So I think you and I are a bit more.
I think you're probably right about that, though, about like Patek buying it, maybe either for the museum or for whatever purpose. Because, dude, there was one, I think it was a minute repeater world timer. And fuck, dude, it went for over $1 million. But dude, when you watch the auction, the counter bidding, and they said from Switzerland, dude, every time someone bid, they counter bid immediately.
Yeah, like, I mean, look,
that sounds like Patek.
It could be the brand itself, right? Like, and for whatever reason, whether for the museum, whether to, again, right there, Patek Philippe is very proud of their auction presence. They talk about auctions all the time. right? They're known to buy watches at auction. So now I'm going to show you the watch in a second here. I just want to start by just going price high to low. The watch that went for the most money, 3.69 million, Philippe Dufour. This one is a white gold 2-train minute repeating grand and petite sonnerie wristwatch with sapphire dial, Hunter case back certificate. So I've heard that a lesser Philippe Dufour, not too long ago, maybe 2 years ago, something like that, went for almost double this. So when I was speaking to my collector friend this morning, um, they were just talking about how the market, they're like, well, the market's down because fuck, a lesser Philippe Dufour than this one sold for 7 million, and this one's selling for 3.9. And it was to the point where even like Phillips didn't even know how to estimate this, so they just said they're just like fucking excess of $2 million, like whatever, just excess of 2 million, Kelso. But do you feel that auctions are any kind of a reality to the market, or do you think it's just kind of like a point in time?
Interesting. Yeah, it's definitely. It's hard to say, it's also in the stratosphere, these numbers are just like, I just think about this. I'm like, how rich is someone to fucking spend 3.7 mil and wear that on the wrist? Like, dude, you could buy a fucking apartment building, be making 10 grand a month. You're like, fucking, I'm getting like, it's just a whole nother level of fucking watch, Oh, I think that the auction is definitely, a reality. It's what they're going for today. Some went for crazy prices. It's definitely showing that the market's coming down, like the modern stuff at least. Like there was a 5172 salmon that went for 38 grand. That's before premium and tax, and I know that's another like 30%. But even with that, it was like the lowest on the market. It was like if it's actually good buying on some of these. I mean, it's 1 in 100 that are actually a good deal. I think most of them are market value, but
I always felt that auctions they don't show any trends, right? Like you and I could be in a room together, and it's like, okay, we're both bidding on a 5212 Tiffany stamp or whatever, right? Like, and we're just going absolutely ballistic, bidding. It doesn't mean that the market's up, even if that way. Because I'll tell you an example. I had a 5035 annual calendar with an Italian dial that Archie used to make fun of back in the day, and I remember watching, I think it was a Phillips auction actually, years ago, and that watch went for like, I don't know, like 25,000 US dollars, and it was trade, or maybe 30,000 US dollars, and it was like trading at about 20, right? So I went on Archie's, and I remember sending him the video, and I'm like, oh, the fucking, mine's a rare piece and all this bullshit, right? And it's probably just some Italian guy in the room. It was a European auction, some Italian guy in the room who just wanted that watch. You know what I mean? So
sure.
I don't
Like
know. Yeah.
Even a watch like this surprises me because, like, when you first pulled it up, I'm like, oh, this must be a 1 of 1, like a bespoke piece, But then I see numbered 7, I'm like, damn, fucking.
Yeah.
I would, that's where the auctions get crazy, when it's like a 1 of 1 piece. It's like, okay, you're never gonna find another one of these. I can understand why those go for crazy money and people get, emotional about it. But like some of these others, they're like a dime a dozen. It's like it's got to be a good deal to even consider it.
I'm going to highlight this one. So the 1518 for everybody is the first serially produced perpetual calendar chronograph, Patek Philippe. So obviously,
That's sick.
yeah,
Dude, that's got some 5320 vibes in it.
Yeah, it does, man. So a lot of folks feel that when they talk Patek Philippe perpetual calendar, right? Like I'm going to show you what I mean because you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you guys the perpetual calendar lineup in the grand complication section. So first line, perpetual calendars. Now a lot of folks think the Patek Philippe perpetual calendar is signified by this layout, which is called the subdial layout, or Archie calls it the 3 eyes. Okay, the 3 eyes. This was actually only popularized by the 3940. That's why I keep talking about the 3940 because it was an icon. It ran for 20 fucking years. And that's why people in their minds always think this is the perpetual calendar because they probably came into watch collecting in the 80s or later. Whereas, you and I, we own a variant of this one, which is in what's called aperture style. And, going back to the auction for everybody, showing you guys that, where the fuck is the auction here? Here we go. The aperture style layout, with the moon phase, is the actual original layout for the perpetual counter. So that's why, right off the rip, Kessel, you're like, oh, that's giving me 5325s. That's why, right? It's because the layout is the traditional perpetual counter layout from the brand.
Yeah. And you know what I like about the older style, where how they do the date? They keep it upside down.
Yeah.
They don't flip the numbers.
I find
It's a
that
small
wildly.
detail.
I find that wildly annoying, actually, because I checked my I don't know if you were wearing yours today, but it's like the number 9 is like upside down. I'm like, what is it?
Right.
Is it 6 or is it 9 today? Like, what fucking day is it? Yeah, so it's just funny that you bring that up because I was literally complaining about that this morning.
Well, I
So
wish they kept it like this. I'm curious why they even flipped it. I feel like this is the proper way to do it.
yeah, so what Kelsey was just talking about is right here. You can see the 9. Like on ours, it's like the 9 is upside down,
Yeah,
right?
they
So
turn it over, and then all
right.
the other numbers are right side up on the bottom on 6 o'clock side.
Yeah, that's a cool actual observation, man. I didn't even pick that up. But yeah, just 1948, 35 mil. So again, probably oversized for the time at 35 millimeters. Um, Sold for 1.6 million, just at the high end of the estimate. Not surprising. Perpetual counter chronographs always do well, or typically do well at auction. Um, so let me sort these again by highest to lowest because this sometimes bugs out and it goes by
Because
a
we
lot.
don't fuck around. We go high to low, baby.
Well, we want to see like what is the most
What
interesting.
matters?
Yeah, like what sold for a lot. What was the big interesting one? So this is the watch that
Ooh,
that
I
they were
like that one
talking.
on the right, dude.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a
Oh yeah,
second.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
this,
This is the one I was talking about. This is the one that had the rapid fire bids coming back from Switzerland.
yeah. So this is the one that other collector was saying to me, saying, I don't know why somebody would spend. I mean, what would these guys spend here? 1.3. Now this didn't even hit the high end of the estimate. This hit
Hmm.
kind of like the mid to the high, 1.39 or 1.4 million dollars. For a watch that's arguably like it's half the price. If you were to buy from Patek Philippe. And that's why I said, like you said, from Switzerland. I mean, if it came from Switzerland, it's possible it's the brand buying it, right?
Wait, no shit. That's 3.2 million retail.
Sorry,
Is
I
that
don't
what
know
you're
what
saying?
I don't know what the retail is on this one.
Oh, I thought you were saying it went for half a retail.
No, the retail could be half this price, right? It could be
Oh,
five
oh,
hundred
oh, oh,
thousand
oh.
or six
I
hundred
see.
thousand, right? Something like that, because it's
I
sold for
hear
like
you.
700 or 1.4, right? So 6, 7, probably not 700, but maybe 5, 6. Who knows, right? Like I'm sure Russell 996, if he's listening, can tell us in the chat. He'll know. What's interesting about this is this name. So Anita Porcher is a name like I'll just tell you guys right now. Everybody hears Gerald Genta design, Gerald Genta design, Gerald Genta design. When you're talking about designs of watches, yeah, Gerald Genta. When it comes to enamel dials, Anita Porcher is the god. Okay, the god. Everybody wants an Anita Porcher dial. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to identify an Anita Porcher dial that's done in her workshop versus done by her specifically. So I'm going to all of her dials, whether workshop or hers, are signed. And in the signature, you're going to have to look. I think I have to find this a little closer. I don't know if I can see it in this photo, but I'll find it for you guys. Maybe it's in this one. And I'm just going to
Oh
have to.
no shit. So this is one of hers.
Yeah, you can see it right here. I'm highlighting it with a little. It
Oh,
says
look at
AP right here. It says
that.
AP right here. So this is an Anita Porcher cloisonné enamel dial.
Dude. I didn't see that. That is fucking cool.
Yeah, this is the nuances, guys, that you look for when you're looking for if you're going to enamel dial Patek Philippe, you want it to be an Anita Porcher enamel dial. Now, you can see I was highlighting AP. It's a bit hard to see. It's like, where's Waldo? But I found it. AP, I'm highlighting it here. Anita Porcher. When it's signed AP, now it's allegedly made in her workshop. So it may not have been done by her specifically. If it says A. Porcher, I believe that is when it is her specifically that did the enameling. Now, I could be completely wrong and it's completely backwards, but I believe this was not. Yeah, Dodger. I think she is. But in her workshop, I think that like the AP is the signature of the workshop. But yeah, Dodge. I mean, this watch is from 2 years ago, man. So the workshop is still providing
Bro, this
providing.
is so sick. Look at the wake on the boat. You see the little on the
Yeah,
water
yeah,
there?
yeah. It's Geneva,
Dude,
man.
the
It's sweet.
detail on that is sick.
All right, let me pull this one up for you because I actually asked Archie this.
Yeah, this
I
looks so cool.
I don't know if you saw the show yesterday, Kelso, but I super chatted Archie a question about this watch. I said, "Hey man, what do you think of the 3670A?" And Archie's like, "Man, I've never seen this watch before," and wow, and all this other stuff, right? So he really liked it. Interesting enough, this is one of the TV cases that a lot of people actually dig. Because I keep telling Archie, why don't you buy the Patek 5040? I'll show you a 5040 here.
Bro, they need to bring this back. If they brought that back, that's still good today. I don't know why they should make this a production piece.
Well, let me
That
show you
would
the
be
50. Let me show you the.
sick.
Sorry, I meant the 5940. I'm showing you the 5940, right? So, these don't go for too far off annual calendar money, Kelsolwitz. And again, TV case, not
Right.
as Look, I get it, right? Like it just looks a lot more sleek when it's a chronograph. Because it looks a bit more sporty, and I understand the vibe, right? But those 5940s, they don't trade for very much. And Archie is like, "Wow, I don't want the fucking case and shit." I'm like, "Dude, like, you buy obscure shit. Like, this is right up your alley." But what can you do?
Yeah. Now, is this the same movement as the 5070, or is this the 5170, the newer?
No, I think this one uses I don't know if it's a Valjoux or a Lemon. I think it might be a Lemania movement.
Dude, that fills the case so nicely. Look at that.
Yeah, man, you'll see it's a different caliber. It's a 13 113. So hallmark of here, I'll pull this up here. Caliber 13 130. Long hallmark of Patek Philippe's chronographs, gracing iconic models such as the 130 and the 1463. Very cool. To commemorate the remarkable find, Patek made the bold decision to disassemble and reassemble these 16 movements, encasing them in stainless steel and steel cushion cases reminiscent of the 1920s chronographs. Wow. So they're using like classic movements that they have, vintage movements, and they're casing them in this kind of like retro style. Really, really cool, man.
Bro, that would blow up. If they did a men's stainless steel chronograph, dude, that would be epic.
Well, I mean, if they release this as the Cubitus, I mean, maybe people would have dug it, right? Who knows? Um, Obviously, close to the high end of the estimate, $825,000 for this one. 37 mils production in 2012. In steel, right? 3670A steel. But yeah, man, I'm a big fan. I thought this was really cool when I saw it yesterday, and I kind of showed Archie, and he was like, "Damn."
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know where old AC3 is, man. He needed a mental health break. I told him, "Cool, man. You do your thing." Like, I'm sure either I'll come on and talk some shit, or other people will hop on and talk some shit. Patek Chris, that'd be cool. It's a bit hard for me to do everything all at once. But yeah, no, I definitely like to see it. Like rare handcrafts. Kelso, this was great this year in London when we were doing the trip. Patek Philippe actually brought the rare handcrafts to the London salon, and it was great, man. Like open house, like just all you need to do was register. Free tickets. So it was super cool, man. Went there with Higgy Baby and Muhammad Ali, and yeah, it was a ton of fun. Yeah.
Where are they doing the next one? Have they announced one?
I don't know, man. Like I think this was just a they were just bringing it to the. I mean, the UK is a big market, right? So and it's close to Switzerland, so they just kind of brought it to the salon. I don't think it was a grand tour or something like that because they do those. Because they did one in the US, like I don't know, not last year, maybe the year before or something like that. And then last year's was like in Tokyo where they did the all the Japanese releases like the 5330 and stuff like that. So I think in those ones they bring a lot of their stuff as a grand exhibition. I think on the rare handcrafts, I don't know if it makes it around that often or all around the world or anything.
I got to make it out to the next one.
Yeah, look, it's great because you get to talk to like the artists, right? People are doing enameling there, they're doing guilloche there, they're doing marquetry, they're doing all kinds of like actual artwork on the pieces, like in front of you. So not only are they displaying the pieces that have beautiful art on them, and look, it's not for everybody, right? Like our artsy pieces, they're not. I like them, but again, not everybody's going to be is people are just gonna be like, oh fuck, why would the fuck would I buy that and just not be interested in it? I just like to look at nice things. So yeah, it was really good, man. I think I would recommend it to anybody who likes watches. Look, I wasn't even much of a I wasn't even much of a Patek Philippe fan when I went to the museum many years ago, and it really opened my mind to the brand as well as other brands, because there's a lot of history in that museum. So, Kelso, if you've never been to Geneva, you got to go to the fucking Patek Philippe Museum. It's really good.
Oh, I know. I'm overdue.
Well, I'm trying to go to fucking Watches and Wonders, man. So if you're down, like I need other people to come with. So,
Bro, if I'm not working, I'm there.
yeah, it's always at a weird. It's like April, right? It's a kind of a weird.
I'm always working during that time. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think Basel was like
I always tell myself I'm going, and then a job comes up, and I'm like, oh, that's that.
Yeah, man. Like Basel was, I think Basel was like in March, like late. It was weird, always at weird times. But all the European guys, like maybe Thomas Burnett, if you're listening. I know you went this year. If you're gonna go next year, Thomas Burnett, let me know, man, because I'm interested to go. I think Watch Nick's already been there, so he's probably not gonna go again, and a few other guys. So. Steve43 is the poll to give us false hope. Let's see how the poll's actually doing, man. I'm gonna switch over to a bit of drama here for 2 seconds. Kelsey, we'll go back to watches. All right, so I put up a poll earlier. What would happen if AC3 fired Lux? So hot topic in the Archieverse is, just a lot of a little bit of anti-Lux sentiment, or a lot of anti-Lux sentiment by a lot of people. Now, some of these folks are on competing channels and have a, probably a reason, a motive, you could say. So those guys, I would, I get it. I kind of asked everybody else, like, well, what would happen if Lux wasn't here? Would there be a morning show? Would Angelic annex the slot? Angelic the Slayer, is trying to get that treehouse off the ground, becoming his cash cow, his retirement. He wants to be the new, he doesn't really care for the in his manifesto, I believe he called Archie the Bogan and all this other stuff. Angelic wants it, to be the pontiff in Melbourne. So, look, I don't know what's going to happen here, Kelso, but this is the poll. I'm going to head back to Watch Talk right now, but that is, look, SD43. It's. I'll give you my opinion on the situation. Look, Lux is a guy who is here every day. Whether you like him or you hate him, whether you like his show or don't. Most people who watch this show probably don't even fucking watch his show, because it's at 5:30 in the morning for me. But I mean, the guy's here every day. He does his job. It's a job to him. It's a gig. I don't really bother employees. They're just doing their job. So yeah, that's the way I see Lux personally.
What's the downside to it? What's the he makes money, right?
You know what, people. I think I'll say what some folks have said. Nah, look, some people think that his show doesn't bring in a lot of money, so they kind of question that. Which, look, on the flip side, I'll tell you that Lux has his own bigger donors, right? Private Info is one of them. Private Info doesn't super chat on this show. He super chats on Lux's show, and generally it's usually a red. There's other donors. I'm not gonna name people's names, but that show does does fine, I would say, from a money perspective. Other parts of it, Kelso, are just people don't like his shtick, or one that I do kind of agree with is Lux is not really the most knowledgeable of watches. Like, if you're gonna be on a watch fucking channel, like, and you're the host of a watch channel, you should be able to kind of know watches. Now, it's not like he doesn't know anything about watches, but he's not really an expert, I would say. Just a lot of people feel that he's doing XYZ against Archie, or they feel it's to his detriment. I don't really see that. The only one thing I'll tell you guys that I did not like about Lux this year was in the London trip. And again, right, I could just be off, and I could just be being a dick here, but when Lux was there and he didn't come to the bro house, I was like, no problem, man. Like, guy's got COVID, whatever. Don't want to spread that around. No issues. What was difficult in London, Kelso, was like, we didn't have a command center, right? Bear wasn't really around the channel. I'm assuming, other folks just couldn't do it at the time. And you remember Thomas Burnett was on all the shows, kind of a thing. We didn't have a command center, right? And I was kind of like messaging Lux, like, yo, like, are you just gonna, like, we just need you to run the show. Just have it on. Like, we'll hop on, but we just need someone to pull up super chats on stuff, and in his defense, he said he was, deathly sick. But I was like, come on, bro. Like, you know, I mean, I kind of agree. Ali did pay for you to come here, and I get it. You're not coming to Brugs, but like, you were paid, you know, to come here for work. You know what I mean? Like, you could at least come on the stream and do that. So that's the one thing I didn't like about Lux. I voiced that already to him, so it's not news. But it is what it is, right? Like, you know, a guy was sick. He was sick. You know, what can I do? But yeah. Yeah, look, I do agree to SC43. Like, Thomas was a legend. It's just like think of what happened in Watch Time New York, right? Watch Time New York's going around, and I mean JJ streaming on his show, fucking Curly's helping JJ, you know, on the panel and stuff like that, and other shows are, you know, Tim Wright streaming and other people are streaming, and I'm sitting here like, you know, there's a few of us from the Archieverse that are around, and you know, some of us could, you know, turn on our cameras, and you know, Jamie did it and Dodger did it, and then I was like, fuck it, right? Like, I'll get some fucking footage of the show, and obviously, you know, Kelsowitz was helping me, and my friend Mina was helping me, and all this other stuff, so it was super cool. All right, Jeremy Kearney, 249 euros, says, who would be a better co-host for Arch, HR or the Narc? That's an easy one for me, Kelsowitz. I'm gonna go with HR. What do you think?
I don't know. Narky Poo is pretty fun.
Narky
Small
Poo's fun.
doses, though. Small
That's
doses.
the issue. That's the issue, man. It's like the Narc. I agree with you. He's great in a drive-by,
Yeah,
but like,
co-host. Yeah, HR.
yeah, like if you ever watched the old Dungeons, right? Like the Narc was kind of a segment, I would say. Like he did a lot of like segments. Like he's like, "Oh, Curly, share my screen," right? And then he would play a clip. You know, Narc was actually the original clip guy, and yeah, that was his shtick. You know, when he moved into like narratives and stuff like that, like I called him out yesterday. Narc's like, when have I ever lied? Right? I'm like, yo, your DOC incident was so fucking shite. Like to this day, he hasn't let it go. Right? He has not. Like he is so determined that OC was sabotaging Archie in London. And I even though I told him, bro, like nobody cares. Even if he did do that, nobody cares. But Narc cannot let it go. And look, it's just, to me, the Narc small doses, big doses, I think he's going to be a flop. So I'm going to go with HR on that one. I agree with you. And HR agrees. Yes. HR got promoted last night. There you go. Narc is light years more entertaining. I think he is. I think the Narc is more entertaining than HR in short doses. I think in long doses, the Narc's value starts diminishing returns, guys. Diminishing returns. Dirk Diggler, Lux is a loyal AC3 enabler, but man, he just doesn't have it. It's like ASMR with him. Yeah, look, a lot of folks find him boring. They don't like his shtick, right? They don't like his show. I get that, right? I get that. You don't like his show, and a lot of people don't watch it because they don't like it. But look, I mean, 40 to sometimes 80 people watch that show, and you know, if anything, this is the funny part, Cal. So not to talk drama with you because I know it's not really what you like to talk about. So I'll do all the talking, I'll do all the blabbering, so you don't.
We need all the pillars, baby. We need.
Yeah. So like the one thing about it is like Danny, if you're listening, the two people I don't understand why they haven't come to the defense of Lux is Plazo and Sauve, right? Because Plastic and Sauve, you know, really we're all about that Australians first, the Australian show. That's the only fucking reason they do that show, is because it's for the Australians, and Lux is in Asia, so he can cover that time zone with Archie, right? So I'm surprised, Danny, that Sauve and Plastic have not come to Lux's defense, you know, making anti whoever is going after Lux's videos. I don't understand that, because Sauve and Plastic, they're going anti Archie videos, but like, bro, like, can they drop a bone for Lux here? Because those guys were the biggest proponent. They wanted to kick me out so that Lux could have his show. Like where the fuck are those guys? I don't know. Lux show is for Brits. And also, yeah, you know what? It's also for the Brits. I would agree with that, JT. I mean, when I was in England, I mean, that show was actually at a pretty opportune time. I think it's like 10:30, 11 a.m. for Rich Mitch and all those in the UK. Dirty Danny taking advantage. So yeah, I would agree with you, man. Steve Burns, $2. Patel, what is your favorite Patek and why? Very, very simple. You know, Kelsey, I'll let you answer this first. I know it's directed to me. I'm going to let you answer this question as if it was directed at you, and then I'm going to tell them mine.
I mean, off the top of my head, 5470.
Ooh, you're going heavy hitter, man. Heavy hitter. Okay, so Patek.
Yeah, 5470. That's. I mean, I got the strap to match it. I know I've always liked that watch. You know, mono pusher chronograph, sporty dress watch. I think that's, if I had to say, best Patek. Modern, at least of the modern stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go modern to answer this question. I'm gonna pull up the Patek Philippe 2499. What the fuck? These fucking ads, bro. I disabled my ad blocker. Like, fuck out of here. Hold on, boys. Stand by. Stand by. Yeah, I'm pulling up a Forbes article because I mean that had a good. Anyways, I'll just fucking shoot the Google image. I'll do Archie style, but I'll blow it up. Patek Philippe 2499, Steve Burns. This is the John Lennon perpetual calendar chronograph. So Kelso, this would have been after the 1518, which was the first serially produced perpetual calendar chronograph. This is the 2499. It's the predecessor to the 3970, which is from the 80s. Really, really cool piece for me. I'm just going to drop the super chat here for you, Steve Burns, so you can have a look. I'm a sucker for calendar complications. It's my favorite. And throw in a chronograph, and you got the ultimate, right? So a bit different than Kelso's, but I went a bit vintage. Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat. Danny says they won't make. I'm not asking them to make Archie money, man. Just fucking. Where's the cavalry for Lux? Those guys wanted that fucking show on. So like those two are being hypocrites in my opinion. Being hypocrites. Wash Nicholas says yes, and he's voting for the Narc. We've got Jeremy Kearney, €2.49, 10 GS Snowflake versus Tudor Black Bay S&G, same retail price. Thank you. Do you want to take a stab at this one, Kelso, and then I will. In the meantime, I'll pull up a Tudor Black Bay.
Oh, Snowflake, easy. Tudor is plain Jane, bro. Tudor is. It's mediocre. Grand Seiko is cool. Grand Seiko, you're being different. That's like you're a watch guy. Nobody knows what the hell that is. Better quality.
I think most people.
Grand Seiko's better.
Yeah, look, I think most people will go Grand Seiko. I'll probably go Grand Seiko as well. Jeremy Kinney, not like look. If it was like the Birches and stuff like that, even though I like the Birches, like it can get a bit harder. I'd say Snowflake's considered one of the best. Iconic, I guess Grand Seikos of the modern times, I guess you could say.
That kind of put them on the map.
Yeah. I mean, that and the Peacock, I would say, are the big two. When it comes to Grand Seiko dials, the Birches are still very popular. White Birch, Black Birch. I'm going to go Grand Seiko as well. Snowflake, beautiful piece. I think there's two versions. There's the old version where it was like, it used to be like Seiko, Grand Seiko. And then, you'd have the Seiko logo and then it would kind of have Grand Seiko as well. And then you have the newer version, which just says Grand Seiko. And I can remember back in that era, Kelso, you were probably watching Archie at that time too, was a lot of the beef was around the fact that they said Seiko, Grand Seiko, not Grand Seiko itself. And that's what ultimately, I think, made the brand want to change it. Let's see if I can find one of those Grand Seiko Snowflake. First gen. Let's go to first gen. Let me see if I can find one. The first gen, and you guys will see. All right, here we go. Seiko Snowflake. This won't be a great photo to show the Snowflake, but this is kind of like what I mean by that time was like the Seiko Grand Seiko, whereas today you see the main logo just says Grand Seiko. So it was at a time, Jeremy, too, that like people didn't like this. They're like, I ain't fucking spend that much money on a Seiko. Like the fucking watch says Seiko. This was the big thing. Kessel, you remember this shit? It says Seiko.
Yeah, it's still the case.
It is, but I think it's like died down, right? Like the Lange Seiko hate has like really died down. But yeah, it was such a thing. It was like, nah, I cannot spend thousands on a Seiko. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
So this was the first gen. The second gen, obviously.
And then remember that you had King Seiko. There was King Seiko, which was like the in between.
Yeah, like they have the King Seiko. There's a lot of them, man. There's a lot of different variants of Seiko. As you can see here, also in the other photo, I'm just gonna pull up the other one here. This is the modern version or the new version, which just says Grand Seiko, right? And I think this is what led, that whole anger around the Seiko being the forefront of the dial. I think the brand was getting a lot of feedback that, like, look, it's like fucking calling it a Grand Toyota. Like, shout out to Toyota Mo, but like, you know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody want a Grand Toyota, right? Like, we'll take ourselves a Lexus. SD43, 5 British pounds. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Thinking of swapping a few Rolexes for a 5212. Ooh, Kelso, you're gonna be able to help me on this one. 26,000 British pounds ish. Thoughts, please, guys. Anyone and everyone seems to be Rolexed up here. This is a good one, man, because you went through this dilemma, not too long ago, right?
Let me see. Let me convert. Okay, we're talking 33,000 US.
Correct.
That's a good price. That's about market. I think the lowest I've seen them is around 30. All right, so let's think here. So first, we need to know what Rolexes, bro. That's pretty vague. A few, fuck.
Well,
that.
didn't you trade? Didn't you trade Rolexes?
When I bought the 5212, no, I just paid.
Oh,
cash
you just
for
paid
it.
cash. Good.
When I got the 5320, I traded.
Yeah, that's whatever.
And Rolex.
That's
fuck, I took it all.
Yeah, that's whatever though, right? That's your Grail piece, right? Like that's fine. I
Is
thought
it the first Patek? Let me ask that to SD43. Does he have Patek?
I don't think he does. I think that this
Because then I can understand. I could totally understand trading in Rolex for Patek. I'm even considering doing one of those myself. Because it's just such a fucking hit, dude. That first hit is just like, holy hell, So it kind of softens the blow. Would I do it? 100% yes. 100% yes. Obviously, well, I should say 99% because I don't know how many you're talking about trading in. But if it's relatively fair value for the trade-in, dude, do it. You will not, dude. This is a watch that you can wear every day. It's a complicated Patek, stainless steel Patek, quite rare with the dress models. We were just looking at that one that went for fucking millions.
It's his first. Virgin, baby.
Dude, 100%. Yes, this is the way to go. This is what it. I did the same thing. SC43. This is the first Patek I got. You go through the whole list of them. You start narrowing it down. I don't know what else you're looking at. I'm sure maybe you're looking at a 5226 asphalt dial. I mean, most guys that are into Rolex, especially the sports Rolex, I think a lot of people dwindle it down to this model right here. Dude, you'll be so happy. It's a winner.
All right, that is Kelswitz. I'm going to give you my hot take on the 5212. The reason I asked Kelswitz to start us off, SD43.
I want it back again now, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, that's it. Look, it was tough for Kelswitz. I remember when you were selecting watches because this wasn't the only watch you were looking at. You had Laurent Ferrier's you were looking at. You were looking at Gronefeld's. You were looking at a lot of pieces. And when you started narrowing it down to this watch, I mean, I was, what I find so cool about YouTube is I'll start spruiking a watch, whether it's Cubitus or fucking 5212, and it's just funny because I start seeing it's popping up elsewhere, and I know that I was doing a lot of like fucking talk about the 5212, and it just when Kelswitz was thinking about it, I said, look. This watch, I mean, I wear. Kelswitz, do you wear? Did you ever wear this when you were working at all, or just kind of wore it chilled out?
You know what? I did not. But now that I have the Perpetual, I wear that to work, which is so silly. I should have been wearing the. It was so precious, though. When you get your first one, the first few months, you're like, dude, don't fucking bump this thing. You know what I mean? It's like, so I didn't have the balls at first,
but what?
You definitely could. You definitely could. There was no reason not to.
The reason I asked that question is because this watch is, I mean, Kelsey, it's so light on the wrist because it's steel. Compared to your white gold and my white gold pieces, it's a steel watch, and SD43. That's the cool part about it. Number one, steel is more precious than fucking gold is in Patek Philippe. That's a big thing. Number two, I don't know if they're ever gonna make another dial that's like kind of this handwritten script and with the story, like, for those that don't know the story of this watch, this watch was presented to Thierry Stern, in its design phase, with, obviously the designer handwriting the months and all the stuff. And Thierry Stern, really liked that idea. And it reminded him of a school calendar. When he was in school, he would write the months and the days in the calendar and stuff like that. And he felt it looked like a school calendar to him. And he liked that idea. And so half of his team, when he pitched the idea, this is what's funny about the Cubitus, is like, apparently he just fucking steamrolled that idea and said, fuck, I'm just doing this, right? Whereas in this design, he asked his design team, and 50% of them said it's a cool idea, 50% of them said, fuck no. So I don't think that there's ever going to, I mean, I hope there's never going to be another one like this, which in and of itself could give it some rarity. It's very unique to see this watch Russ, if you're around, maybe rewind as well a little bit. We're talking minute repeaters. We shouted you out a few times. Um, the kind of handwritten font, super cool. Weeks of the year may not be relevant to everybody. It could be relevant to some. It's still a cool complication. You get months of the year, you get day of the week, you get date. So really, it's not. It is a complicated piece.
You know what's cool about the weekly calendar too is it gives you that 50. At least on this Patek, it gives you the 53rd week, which happens like every 5th or 6th year.
That's right.
But if you look on like AP's Perpetual, that has a weekly calendar, they only go up to 52. It's a cool little note there. One criticism, if I could say, about this watch, a couple of things. One, I actually don't mind the date, but I wish the date window had a little step down, like a little, like on our Perpetuals, there's like a little channel where it's like a two-step. They finish it nicer. It's not just a clean cut. I wish they did a little extra work on that. And then the only other thing, and this I only realized this once I had the thing, the gearing on the 5212 is fucking slow, man. Like when you go to set it, motherfuck, you got to turn that thing. It like barely turns the hand, so you're like winding the hell out of it to set the time. It's just a little thing, but compared to some other watches, some IWCs or whatever, the hands move so fast. It's kind of nice.
You know what's funny
But
is
convenience
that was Kelsowitz's like first complaint. Yeah, I remember getting a
like,
text
what
from him,
the
and he's
fuck?
like,
It was so tight, dude.
you're
I'm
like,
what
bro,
the fuck?
does your watch also wind? Like, does it take a fucking forever to like, get the time set? I'm like, yeah,
The
it's
gearing is very strange on this watch. There's a lot going on. There's like 60 jewels or something
yeah,
ridiculous.
that was the
on
one
this.
fact I was gonna say was this watch has an inordinately high amount of jewels. I think it's like 50 something. But just
Yeah.
crazy amount of jewels in this watch. Look, I think this is great. It's a complicated piece. Steel piece, very casual. SE43 can be worn, dressed up, dressed down. Like I wear this, to work often enough, and yeah, it's great, man. I would highly recommend this. We got Rich Mitch, £2 British. He wants to stay on the Grand Seiko talk. Thoughts on the? I have this watch up. Thoughts on the SBG J249. I believe I got the right reference here. SBGJ249 and the high beat movement. So he's talking about high beat, 36,000 vibrations per hour. Kelslowitz, what do you think? GMT.
Oh, I like it. It's a beautiful dial. The only thing, when I think I've looked at these before, I think they're quite thick. What's the thickness on this? I'm pretty sure their GMTs are like ridiculous.
14 mil.
Yeah, see, that's a little chunky. It's a really cool dial.
Yeah,
it's stainless steel.
and kind of look at this too, right? You got a 19 mil strap or 19 mil bracelet. Pretty thick watch. 39.5s is fine. Actually, you got 35 lug to lug, 46. So it's not arguably
That's reasonable.
Yeah, it's not a big watch. Mean daily +5 to -3 seconds per day. You want to know something interesting, Rich Mitch? The Patek Philippe seal, superlative chronometer is -2 +2. Patek Philippe seal is -3 +2, so pretty close to superlative chronometer. This is +5 -3 deviations mean daily. So again, right, like it's all right, I guess. For me, it's I don't know. I don't really dig the design. I think it's kind of like you got no crown guard here. It's kind of not. It's in the elegance line, right? So, but then you're putting this fucking sports bracelet on it. Like, I don't get it, man. Like,
and it might be better on a strap.
It just right off the rip. I see like a dress watch and a sports watch at the same time. And this is the problem with Grand Seiko is like
this is kind of like Aquaterra. They should do like Omega. They should put that fucking rubber strap on it and just make it a sports watch.
I mean, it could look like a very cool sports watch. It's confusing to me, and that is why I would say I'd probably be a pass for me, Rich Mitch. I just like Grand Seiko makes cool dials. I think Zaratsu polishing is overrated.
Dude, that's the thing though with Grand Seiko. Like every time I look at these, like they all look the same, dude. Like what the fuck? They're all like there's not. I don't know.
Well, it's all dial, right?
If you look at a case of Grand Seikos, like all you see are like some different colors, and it's like all the same fucking thing. And it's nothing that innovative. It's just like, yeah, that's a watch. You know?
The 9S85 movement is really impressive, a variation of the coaxial escapement. So maybe some longevity between services, but honestly, whole milk is just aesthetically even it doesn't make any sense to me. Like it's a very kind of a mix of a dressier piece in the elegance line and then a sport piece by that bracelet. In case it's like I don't really get it. And I would just say that Grand Seiko is a great dial manufacturer. Yeah, Seiko makes cool movements, and don't get me wrong, they're great movements. But people like to push Grand Seiko as being this like high horology brand or whatever, and I would say the majority of their watches are not high horology.
And dude, now that they're getting some traction, the prices are going crazy. The retail prices are going up, up, up. They're more than Rolex in a lot of cases.
Well, this is the thing, right? So the two brands that were very underrated, Kelslowitz, maybe about 7-8 years ago, were Lange and Grand Seiko. 7 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. Lange and Grand Seiko, very underrated. You could, I used to call it a Lange in depreciation, is what I used to call that brand. If you ever see it on the streams, I used to call it a Lange in depreciation because it made no sense buying that watch at retail because it would fucking sink, man. Like you get Lange ones in the high teens. Like I was like, fuck, I don't want to buy this brand. And Grand Seiko was another one because of partly what I showed earlier about the Seiko Grand Seiko issue. But at a time when people were like, well, you get fucking better than Rolex quality for Omega money, guys. Like that was a great deal. Now, arguably, yeah, is it better than Rolex quality? I don't know. I mean, my fucking Explorer has been holding some great fucking time. Like, it's a robust piece. Arguably, you could say the movement's just as good in a lot of Rolexes as in other watches. Like, it's not, these aren't art pieces outside of what's on the dial, man. Like, in my opinion, like these low to mid tier Grand Seikos, like, yeah, I mean, they're okay, but there's people that put these on the pedestal.
I guess you could make an argument that their movements are better finished than Rolex.
Yeah, but it's not really the point, right? Like Rolex movements are finished probably for more of a utilitarian purpose than they are for decoration. That's why they don't show their movements. They're not, the brand was never about high horology, pieces. It was about tool watches and usable watches. It became luxury items down the track, right? But it was never the reason. So, but Grand Seiko, I agree with you, is trying to, like ABC's pointing out, Zaratsu polishing, cool dials and stuff like that. Yeah, a bit more art, right? But I think they're trying to punch above their weight. I think that they were punching above their weight and probably still are to some extent with Rolex, but I mean, that's not everything in watch collecting, right? Brand is like they get crushed, on the brand, the brand, I would say they get crushed on the resale. They get crushed on a lot of things, right? Of why I would not really recommend Grand Seiko. Do I dislike Grand Seiko? No. I like Grand Seiko, but I don't put Grand Seiko on a very high pedestal like a lot of folks do. I'm sorry. Are you related to Teddy Balthazar, Kessler's?
Yes, second cousin.
Dirk Diggler, who likes it thick, with his OnlyFans girls. He says, I had this watch, but the 20th anniversary one, and it's chunky. It's always been, it's always been, that's all. Well, I mean, that's always been the issue with Grand Seiko. It's just been like, people hate the bracelets, people hate the clasps, people hate the thickness. Like, I mean, when you're complaining about the bracelet clasp and thickness, I mean, what the fuck else are you really? I mean, you just literally look at it's the dial, then, right? Like, what else the fuck are you looking at, right? Like,
that's their main sell, I think.
Like, I mean, I don't think motherfuckers are sitting there looping their Grand Seikos every night. Like, I mean, you probably do it once or twice, but like, I don't think you're doing that every night. So, what else are you really looking at? You're looking at the dial. That's what you're buying, guys. So, I mean, do you buy watches for the dial only? I don't know. I don't do that.
Mr. Wonderful. That's a Mr. Wonderful move.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, to credit Mr. Wonderful, I think he was also played a pretty important part in Lange being a lot more popularized with, like, and being a lot more mainstream. He's a big proponent of Lange. He loves that. He loves the brand. But it wasn't always like that, right? There was times when he was only seeking the 5711 blue dial, right? Like, you know, Kevin O'Leary is
Right.
probably more noob in watch collecting than like most people watch the fucking
Yeah.
show. So it's like
Right.
all good.
You're right.
Frank V, $5. Thoughts on the Navitimer B19 chronograph 43 perpetual counter. This is a lot here.
Oh,
Navitimer.
perpetual from fucking Scheitling. Good lord. You know, dude, I've heard that. This is what I've heard of. I don't have firsthand experience, but apparently sending your watch to Breitling is like a 6-month wait for service right now. Like because they're independent, like they have a really tough time getting watchmakers, and they have such a high volume. The AD told me it takes 6 months to get a watch back from them. So fucking good luck with the perpetual, dude. Holy shit, that looks pretty good. I gotta tell you.
Yeah, like one thing I'll tell you, Frank V, is one part I'm really disappointed. The name of the stream is Watches, Drama, and Disappointment. We've obviously talked watches. I've talked a bit of drama. I'm gonna talk disappointment here now, Frank V. Very disappointed in Archie Luxury because the Breitling Navitimer used to be in his top 10 most iconic watches of all time, and he's recently removed it and is refusing to put it back on the list. And I asked him why. I said, Archie, like, why do you not feel that the Navitimer is the icon that it used to be, or the one watch per brand icon? And he was just like, he's like, well, they licensed out the name to Zinn, and Zinn has a Navitimer, blah, 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 bullshit fucking response, right? I'm actually a huge fan of the Navitimer. I think that, historically, it's a significant piece. Pretty interesting layout. I mean, you got slide rule, perpetual calendar, chronograph. It's a pretty interesting piece. It's like Kelslowitz was
Moon phase. Holy shit.
Yeah, like it's
a lot happening here.
You know what? For me, it's just like it's a pretty I think this is the one he was talking about,
He's considering this? What's the question? Or just what about it?
He is all right, so bus movement, automatic integrated chronograph with column week. Column week. Yo, column week, bro, column week. Integrated chronograph with column wheel, vertical clutch, open door for the lemons, blah 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 blah. Cool perpetual calendar, man. I think it's a pretty nice layout. I dig it.
I wonder if the editor saw that and he's like, yeah, fuck Breitling, just keep
column week. Column week. GD 20 Argentinian pesos says, hey, 10, where's Caesar? Caesar actually took today off. Caesar was not going to do a show.
Did he?
Yeah, he said he needed a mental health break, so he's taking Mondays off. I told Caesar, I'm like, yo, you leave this slot open, man. Marcelo's going to start taking the slot over.
No. He's talking Mike the Snake, bro. The descendant.
Could be anybody, man. Well, Archie said
no. He's asking where is Mike the Snake. I think by Caesar he means the descendant of Caesar.
Oh, the descendant. Well, I'm sure Mikey's around, right? Mikey knows I'm streaming. I let him know, so he's welcome on the stream. Sturdy Danny. Archie also said every man needs a date just yet doesn't own one. Yeah, Archie has really gone the way of the no date just in the collection scenario. So to answer Frank V's question, I think it's a cool watch. I've always loved the Navitimer. Cool moon phase on this. Like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this watch. Kelslowitz asked the question, why would you buy a perpetual calendar from Breitling? It's a fair point. It's a fair point, right? It's maybe you get it at a really good discount. Maybe it's going to go for super cheap. Maybe it's not. Maybe he likes Breitling. I don't know the answer to that, but if he likes it, man, I don't see anything wrong with this watch personally.
Yeah, if it's a good deal.
I own the rose gold normal Navitimer. Oh, very nice, man. Very nice. Just adding to the watch. I appreciate that, Frank V. That's really cool. Yeah, no, it's a nice looking watch, man. I've always liked the Navitimer, and I just never got behind Archie's I mean, Bear and I, Kelso, we've gotten Archie to come around on Cartier. I bought a Santos. He bought, obviously a number of Santoses. So Archie's coming around on Cartier. He's a lot more chill with Cartier. He reminisces about his past loves with women's watches and shit with Cartier, which is really fucking strange. Yeah, it's just fucking weird. He likes Cartier, but only the women's watches for some fucking reason. But in the Navitimer, dude, he never came around. He refuses to acknowledge that the Navitimer is an icon. It fucking blows my mind.
Yeah, I've always found him a little busy, to be honest.
Ooh, this one's for you, Kelso. It's GD50 Argentinian piece. He's up the ante here. There's
here we
only
go.
one Caesar, Kelso. He's the pontiff, the governor's governor, Archibald the Chesterfield of the third.
All right, I got you.
The third.
Mike has made that reference.
He also had Cartier in his top 10 watches. Yet again, he doesn't own. Yeah, I think Archie had the Cartier, the tank actually. Was it maybe the Santos? I think he may have had two in the top 10, but I think it's the tank that he had, not the Santos. Well, hey, look, arguably there's a lot of argument on the tank side. There's a lot of argument on the Santos side. The original Santos Dumont. Ask and you shall receive, guys. Mike the Snake.
There he is.
People were asking about Caesar, but we got Mikey here with us. Just as good, in my opinion.
What's up, Mikey?
What's up, big dog?
Just chilling like a villain.
Yeah, man. So you heard that Kelso is trying to set up a little Bay Area meetup with the boys?
Yeah, I talked to him like yesterday about it. Dude, I'm like what's the word?
He's lost for words. He's so fucking excited.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm yeah, I mean, for people to want to like take a special trip up to come see me, it's like I'm kind of dumbstruck. But it's awesome. It'll be super fun. You guys want to come up? I'll make sure there's fun stuff for everybody to do. There's 100 things we can do. We can do wine tasting. We can go to the gun range and shoot a bunch of big old guns if you want. Bunch of army guns and hunting guns, or we can go out to the beach, out to the coast, and have a killer seafood lunch. There's all kinds of fun stuff.
Dude, it'll be awesome. I'm trying to gather the troops. I'm trying to see when everyone's available, and it's looking like most people want to do January, but all the locals are want to do next weekend.
Locals, you can do next. You should do it next weekend. And locals want to do it. Fuck, you're in SoCal. Just go up there, right?
Yeah.
My schedule is pretty open. I think around the 18th. I think around there, I have to take my mom in for a chemotherapy thing. So at least part of that day is spoken for.
You'll be good then, because it's that weekend. It'll be like 3 days later.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, good. Because I can't change that date.
And make sure the Porsche is gassed up.
Yeah, it's always gassed up. It's ready to go.
Hell yeah.
But
I was telling Kalsowitz, I was like, it was such a good time. Like obviously you were there with Toyota Mo, like, just happy. What did you think of Toyota's Mo's watch? I was telling Kalsowitz about it earlier. He brought the Vacheron for you to see. What were your thoughts, man?
That watch more than any. Now, granted, it was on a strap, but I expect the bracelet to kind of basically feel the same. But that watch rested on my wrist better than any watch I've ever put on my wrist. It literally disappeared on my wrist. Like I couldn't feel it on my wrist. It fits so well. And it's not a real huge watch or anything. But the lug to lug and the shape of the bottom, I loved it. It was, I tried it on when it first came out, when it was only about 13 grand at Tourneau, like maybe 10 years ago.
Yep.
And I fell in love with it then. I didn't have the cheddar to buy it then. I don't have the cheddar to buy it today, but it's still, even now more so, like, I would grab that watch before I would grab some higher dollar complication watch. Complications, I'm not really too huge on. I like them enough, but a basic 3-hander, and plus that blue dial, you can just fall into it, man. And just keep falling forever.
Bro, Mike, that's your watch, bro. That's your watch. Forget Rolex. Just wait a few years, save your money, start pumping out those vases. Mm-hmm. Okay, get a couple bucks flowing. and just laser beam focus. You know, there's a new generation of that. You know, it was the 4500, but now it's the 4520, I believe. They made it a little thinner, and
Okay.
Oh, really?
it's an updated model of it. Yeah.
Well, because I'm happy with the version 3, the non.
Well, you can probably get those cheaper pre-owned. That's a good point. The
Exactly.
previous generations, a
Now
couple
that
bucks
the
less.
new version out, I might be able to get my Grail for a lot less.
You know, the thing is, too, I know you like the blue, but if you're interested in the black or even the silver, you can get those in the teens. You can get those for like 16, 17,000.
Unfortunately, I love everything about that watch, and the blue dial is a big part of it.
Yeah.
You got-
I think you can get those for like 19, 20 at the moment, but I'm sure they're only
I think
coming down slowly.
that's about where they're at. But I love the Maltese cross theme, and it goes into the bezel. If you notice the angles of the bezel,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The version 3 has 6 of those. The version 2 has 8. That's how you can tell that the
This is the version, you got to start calling this is the version 4.
This is the Mike the Snake version. And then the cutouts in the bracelet also follow the same Maltese cross kind of motif or pattern. And the bracelet on this thing is just off the hook. It just makes the watch.
Well, this one's even better because that's one thing they did is they tapered the bracelet on the 4520 because the previous gen it had a more squared off bracelet closer to the clasp.
Okay. Closer to the clasp.
See how this one tapers down? on the bracelet?
Yeah.
The previous one didn't do that as much. Just a slight.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think it actually wears better on the rubber. I mean, I've never actually owned the watch, but just wearing it, it's nice how you have that option to pop it off, you know?
Yeah, this has the quick release setup on it, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will probably, if I do get a watch with a strap, I will have bought it with a bracelet and added the strap later. It's bracelets for me always, pretty much.
Let me grab these super
It
chat.
comes with
boys.
all three. It comes with the rubber and the leather with the bracelet.
There you go.
We got Ryan Hoffrey here. $2 US. Thank you, Ryan. He says, "Good job, Tan. Happy holidays, boys. Holidays, as you guys see, he's written holidays. Shout out to Madman. Big shout out to Madman. We got GD 50 Argentinian pesos. Thankfully, it seems Beach Ball is also taking a break from showing up to the main show. Thank you, GD. We got JT, $2 Australian. This is for you, Mike the Snake. Mike the Snake, you need a post-it note. Remember to switch Mike.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you, JT. AK's asked me, Tan, do you ever wear your Explorer on a strap? I don't actually. I didn't know if the 40. I never actually explored that idea of putting the 40 on a strap, but yeah, I thought about it when I read this comment. So maybe something I will check out, man.
Dude, Brody does that. You know, Brody got a Oyster Flex strap
Nice.
for his Explorer, and it looks fucking great, and it's probably super comfortable, way better than a rubber bead too.
You want to know something funny, Kelso? I'm doing this show, and obviously, you know, Mike's here and you're here, so you know, you guys are doing a bit of the talking. I'm able to check some fucking during the show. I have a punter like who watches our show who sent me a message saying, "Bro, you know I own that minute repeater, the one we were looking at, the fucking $1.6 million one." I get a fucking message. Some dude's like, "Yo, you know I own that watch, right?" I'm like, "Really?" Like, it wasn't even Russ. Actually, it was somebody else.
Holy moly!
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Everyone says, "Oh, bro, the Archie Luxury Channel's dead, man." Like, fucking no one watches the show. All the high value punters, all the what do they say? High quality or high quality collectors or some shit. OC says all the high quality collectors are what they call them. Like, bro,
A grade.
some motherfucker who owns a $1.6 million watch who's watching me talking shit about watches, like, is sending me messages. So I don't know about no high quality fucking punters, bro. Like, because I think they're pretty high quality here.
Oh hell yeah!
Will you get a Hellcat? I love Hellcats, man. I got nothing against Hellcats. I prefer a Demon, but I definitely get a Hellcat.
What's a Demon? The Charger with the four
Challenger.
doors?
Challenger.
Oh, the Challenger. Okay, yeah, for sure. The newer Challenger definitely retains the genetics of the old one, and so I respect it. The Charger, no. Sorry. It's got 4 doors, and the Charger never had 4 doors. So stop right there. Just stop right there. But yeah, the new Camaros and the Mustangs, they still retain the genetics. If you put a new one up to an old one and nose them together, you can see the genetic resemblance. You can't do that with the Charger and a 68 Dukes of Hazzard Charger. Nose those two together and tell me if you can see one thing that looks like the same.
There's some good car talk earlier, Mike, with producer Mark and Larry. It was
oh yeah, man.
Today. We were
just
I saw Mark on and I was like, what are these guys talking about? And I doing car talk. And I'm like, cool, I'll hop on. And then you hopped on. I was like, man, it just became a party for like a couple of hours. It was a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
Durkee, we love you, Durkee. Come home, Dirk. Come home. We need you on stream, bro.
Yeah, Dirk's cool, man. Dirk can hop on. He hops on every once in a while when he likes to. But yeah, guys, we had a couple of topics. Oh, I had one. I have you on the stream, Kelso. Do you know what this watch is? The Yima Superman. Do you know what this watch is? The Yima Superman.
No,
I don't understand why it's a Superman. Like Mr. GMT, if you're listening, this watch has the name Superman in it, so like I'm sure it's something you've looked at, but I don't see a lot of Clark Kent in this watch, guys and girls. Like you tell me.
Maybe it says gilt, right? I think that refers to the pattern of the bracelet.
The gilt could also probably refer to the gilt text, which gilt's just like gold, right? Like gilt text on the dial, like on the one on the right is possible. I don't know. But I don't really understand the Superman thing. So anybody's a fan of this brand, let me know. I didn't really understand it. I saw it on monochrome and I was like, oh, that's a bit strange. Rich Mitch, £2 Thank you, Rich Mitch, who says, seen El Salvador has found 3 TN gold reserves, 3 tons gold reserves. I didn't know that El Salvador found that much gold, but yeah.
You get a couple rich people in there and start digging good and hard. I think. You ever watch that TV show? What is it? Gold Rush or something? Where that used to be a young 18-year-old kid. Now he's like 28. So he's been on the show. The show's been running for so long. But he goes off on these adventures to South America and Brazil and Guatemala and all these places and talks to the locals and how they get their gold. And it's really interesting how he goes about it, but he also goes about it with the idea of, hey, if I find some crazy ground, I got millions of dollars, I'll fly in the biggest tractors. And
this is a fucking watch for Mike.
I mean, Mikey is on the panel, right? I just saw it on monochrome. So this is the Blancpain Viré traditional Chinese calendar. Okay. Traditional Chinese calendar 2025. The year of the snake, guys, the year of the snake. So, Mikey, right off the rip, Blancpain is known to put these little faces on the moon phase. I always find these pretty funny. This guy looks fucked up, man. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a really fucked up face. I don't know, GD. GD, does this resemble any, Archie Luxury co-host that you may know? I don't know. You tell me, GD.
Yeah.
That's a freebie for GD right there. Like, so this is a traditional Chinese calendar. Shout out to Watch Chat. I don't know if he knows anything about this watch. If you've seen it, I like the green. I think this looks pretty slick in the green. What do you guys think of the raised Roman numerals?
Yeah, they're probably made of metal, right? Like,
this is why you got to get this watch, Mikey, just for this signature right here. Little fucking snake.
That's dope.
Little fucking snake. I'm highlighting it right now. I'm circling it.
Oh, the snake at the top. Oh yeah, hell yeah.
This is the Mike the Snake watch right here.
And you know what it says around the words say around the first complication there below it? It says Qingao.
Qingao.
Yeah, right.
I
wonder if that's the leap year. If that's the 4th year of the leap year, they put the snake. Dude, that's a pretty cool watch. I like the curved hand for the date.
Yeah. No, this thing's got a lot of style. It really does.
Blancpain, a lot of people like, when you think of Blancpain, everyone thinks 50 fathoms, right? You also got the Air Command, which is a pretty, is it a great watch? No. Is it a cool watch? Yeah, I like it. So when you don't really think of like random complications like the traditional Chinese calendar, which is probably a very niche complication. But pretty cool watch, man. I really, it's interesting time that they're presenting this watch a little ahead, I think, of Chinese New Year. But maybe it's a Chinese New Year watch. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I mean, the Chinese, like if you know the horoscope, like Aries and all those different signs that you can be. The Chinese calendar is like completely different than the regular American calendar or standard calendar or whatever you want to call it here. It's drastic.
Zodiac sign.
Yeah, the zodiac.
Yeah.
It's very different. So this isn't just kind of renaming things. Just to make a point.
Got Frank V, $5. Thank you so much, Frank V. Question, just out of interest, does Archie paint his portraits and art? I think I overheard he knows painting, or maybe was a joke. I think he's good at doodling. I don't know if... I think the artwork that he has is like his kids probably made it for him, or somebody else made it for him. I don't think that's his stuff. I think he just doodles. I don't think he knows anything about art, but I could be wrong. I don't know. We have a very, very generous gifting of memberships from Madman. Gifted 10 Archie luxury memberships. I may have to go into another module to see, because I may be way, way behind on the stream. So let me see. Once my stream catches up to everything, I'll be able to hopefully read out who got them. In the meantime, here it is, starting to populate now. We got GD. Shout out to GD with a membership. We got Jay Sykes, who gets a membership. Balls Deep with a membership. Matt Sports Live. We got Fat Windbag Ben with a membership. Sandro H. Slipped Clutch. Patek Chris. Patek Chris. Where'd it go? Patek Chris. Mr. Daytona. And M. Thank you so much, Madman, for the 10. It's a very, very generous gift of 10 Archie Luxury memberships. We got Rich Mitch, 2 British pounds, correcting me. Not 3 tons, Dan. $3 trillion of gold, man. Well, even better for El Salvador. I'll give a shout out to El Salvador. Shout out to this guy, Madman. Madman, I wasn't going to leave you in the cold without some watch talk. I had to ask my good friend Mikey to join me, and Kelslowitz, who threw me a bone by getting catfished with the Bay Area talk. So it's all good, man. It's all good. Look, I think this is a cool watch. I agree with Kelso. I like the curved hand. I like the curved hand. Right, this is pretty cool, man. Like, yeah, like nothing against it. It's just people hate the brand, right? People hate, like, right away. Archie goes right here. He goes, "How much is it?" Right? What is it? 81,000 Swiss francs. It's expensive, right? And just complains about it. Limited 50 pieces. The dial is Grand Fer enamel. Chinese signs of the zodiac. Date and month of the Chinese calendar. Indication of 5 elements.
7-day power reserve. That's kind of cool.
Very big watch, man. 45.2 millimeters in diameter.
Oh my god.
15 millimeters.
Pocket watch. Pocket watch.
It's a big one, man. It's a big boy. It's a big boy. But hey, what would you expect from Blancpain?
Oh, the snake on the rotor. Fucking sick.
There you go, Mike. You need to get one of these, man. Like,
fuck.
the Mike the Snake, Blancpain, the Blancpain. Chinese calendar for Mike the Snake. There was this Superman one. I don't know, Mr. GMT, if you're around, man, I don't know what this Yima Superman is, but if you don't own this watch, man, I can't call you a Superman fan. Visiting Lang & Heine, I love this, a proper high-end. What the fuck does that mean? A proper high-end? You saying these other fucking watch brands are not proper? Like, what the fuck are they talking about? Monochrome, a proper high-end watch brand from. This is the kind of bullshit, Kelso, they spit on the fucking on the media. It's like
sensationalizing.
Yeah, it's like, it's handcrafted by some Swiss grandmother in the Alps who, worked on it tirelessly over the winter, and then when the thaw came, you got yourself a Patek Philippe, right? It's some fucking bullshit, man. like a proper high-end watch brand. Like, what? I mean, Lange & Zone is not a proper high-end. Like, Lange & Heine is okay. Like, the biggest gripe I have with Lange & Heine.
They're more than okay. No, they're pretty fucking good.
They're good, but like, Bro,
Dude, they're
I hate this third lug, man. It's like the third
yeah,
nipple.
no. They're
Third
another
nipple.
one. Their dials and their movements are insane. The cases are antiquated.
I think a lot antiquated is probably a good word. Yeah, I would say antiquated. Their design is very, very traditional.
Suit and tie. Yeah,
Yeah, I would say so. And it's a little too traditional for me. And look, people will
yeah.
buy it because maybe it's traditional German watchmaking. Maybe it's the way the brand has always done it, right? Like the purists will be the purists. But for me, it's just not like I agree with Kelso. It's not very modern. The brand does cool stuff, but calling them only a proper, I don't know. It's like calling everybody else out for not being proper. I just don't get it.
That's a movement watch. You only buy that because you're a big movement geek.
Then we got here the Tudor Black Bay Chrono Blue Boutique Edition. Everybody is all over these dials, right? Like, oh my god, like the pink dial, like, and everyone's like, oh, I gotta buy. It's hyped. And I always tell people there ain't no fucking hype Tudor. There's never gonna be a hype Tudor. It just doesn't exist. It won't exist. They're gonna pump and dump those watches. Tudor, has that level of scarcity, I'd say, at the start. Probably, they haven't shipped all the watches. There's demand for the new watch, so obviously they go up in price. But in the world of Tudor, it's like gravity, guys. Once everything that goes up must come down with Tudor, in my opinion. So I always say I never met a Tudor I didn't flick. So I don't know. I don't see it, guys. Mikey, Kelsel, you guys are hearing about this craze of dials with Tudor. You got the fucking pink dial, and you got all, the Red Bulls and all these random variations that are hype. But then I don't know. What, do you think they're ever going to stay hyped, or are they just fucking dumb?
Oh, definitely. Those are just flavor of the month. And the Red Bull in 10 years, that's going to be, if you don't work at Red Bull, that's going to be a fucking dog. It's already coming down, but it's like,
I think one of the
they're going to be irrelevant.
One of the only Tudors that's going to hold its own over the years is the Pelagos. Because
but they're going to keep making new ones. That's the thing, though. They make so much volume. They're always going to have the new kid on the block. So, like,
did they stop making the original version?
Like the standard?
I don't know. They're every 2-3 years they have like a new version of that.
Yeah, I'm talking about the version 1. They had came in 2 variants. One was ETA based, I believe, and it had a smiley face lettering.
They're done with all the ETA stuff.
And then they switched over to I believe an in-house collaboration with Breitling Movement, and it's got a dictionary below the center of the dial. It's just got all this lettering, how deep it goes, its favorite color, all that bullshit. And but it's unique in its color and the fact that it's titanium. It weighs the same as a sub. I think it's one of the very best tool watches money can buy, honestly. And I think if there's one Tudor that's gonna stand the test of time, it's gonna be the Pelagos, because the others, like everybody says, flavor of the day.
I would agree with you, Mike. I'm not saying that Tudor's a bad watch. I think Tudors are great watches. I'll pull up the Pelagos here for you. I don't disagree that like they're great watches. It was more from the hype perspective of it, where the pink dial has gotten so much kind of attention for hype, and I just think it's a bit reckless to consider Tudor as a hype brand because of kind of what Kelso said. They do pump out a lot of them. They're going to be I'm on the website, as you can see. It's like there's a sea of Black Bays, and it's really really kind of difficult to navigate past Black Bay, even, right?
It is, and I hate the Black Bay. It's like,
what do you dislike about the Black Bay, Michael?
It's too small. Mainly, it's just too small, and the fact that so many people guffaw over it and think it's the best thing since sliced bread, when I don't see that much special in it. And there's even Tudor has other models I would choose over it right off the bat, like the Pelagos or the regular Black Bay in black or red. Are kind of retro looking, but very cool. So Tudor also has some other models that optional, other than the Black Bay 58 for sure.
We've got a super chat, Frank V. Sorry to keep Sorry to keep with this up. This better than Blancpain. Green dial, Breitling Navitimer, B19 chronograph, 43 perpetual calendar. Time for art. Okay, so we need time for art.
This is a 43 millimeter. I think I've seen one of these. These things are gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull this up here for you guys, and I would tend to agree. Have a look at this one, green dial, Navitimer perpetual calendar.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the super chat down here. Yeah, stunning piece, Frank V. I would agree with you. Look, Kelsowitz, came out with a why would you buy a fucking perpetual calendar and a Breitling? Hey, look, there's some truth to that. But you can't say that this is a bad looking watch. Like, I think this is a good looking watch. Kelso, Mike, what do you guys think?
It's a wonderful looking watch.
No,
it's a
sorry,
little, in my opinion, it's a little busy. But aside from that,
awful.
It's god awful. Kelso's hot. Give us a hot take, Kelso. What do you not like?
I was muted. I was fucking muted. I was
go
going
for it.
off.
Be
Dude,
vicious, man. Be vicious and nasty. Go.
This is horrific, bro. This is horrific. The green, the military dark green on a luxury rose gold watch. That
I was kind of hoping that the green was going to be different, maybe in the sunlight or something.
Maybe white metal. I don't know. I'm just not feeling the dial color with it. It's just, and there's just way too much, bro. I don't know. The hands are also low rent for this nice of a watch. Like, you saw how Blancpain did those cool hands. They spiced it up. But you're gonna throw fucking the CQ hands on the fucking perpetual, bro.
No, didn't you have a CQ? Didn't you have a CQ?
Yeah. It had the same hands.
I love that. I just love how you just fucking just laid it in. And I'm like, bro, did you have a CQ? SP is saying Breitling's underrated. Do you guys agree with this? Do you think Breitling's underrated? I don't know. Is it underrated?
It's soft, bro. It is.
So I think it's rightfully soft. You think it's rightfully soft?
Yeah, I hate to say it. I like the fact that they're independent, but I don't know. They're not bringing the heat. It's all kind. It's they're with Omega. And if you're gonna get something at that price point, I'd rather go Omega. Personally, everyone's got their flavor, but Breitling's never really done it for me. Every time I handle one, it just feels lukewarm. It's too thick. It's not that well finished. It's just, I don't know, not for me. But especially this one, I don't know. It's just not. This is just a fucking mess, dude. This is when you go on those one of those sites Make My Own Watch, and you could just start choosing different shit. This is what you come up with,
Ouch. We got P-Cars 935. So a lot of folks don't know that P-Cars, whenever he sends a super chat, it's actually a model of Porsche. This is the 935, Porsche 935 here for Mikey on the screen. Great panel today. Hello, Tan, Mike, and Kelso.
Is it a Kramer or a... there were 3 or 4 companies that made the 935 for Porsche. Kramer was one. Oh, geez, the names are escaping me right now. But 935s, man, they took a 930 and just built it into, a lot of them came from the factory with the slant nose.
Yep.
A lot of them didn't, and the slant nose was added. But they started out as 935s or 930s and became kind of pretty much damn near the ultimate fucking hot rod race car of the time. These things rocked 1,100 horsepower at times.
I've actually seen one of these in person. It was at a dealership in Toronto. They had one in the show at FAF. Yeah, it was really cool, man. I saw it. I was like, "Fuck!" That's the car I want. And that's crazy money, Mike. It's fucking insane money for these cars. But P-Cars, he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff.
My guess is 3.5 million.
I don't even know, man. I don't even remember. It's just it's money you don't even think about at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's just but that is absolutely gorgeous, off the hook.
Oh, dude, we got some players in the chat here. We got P-Cars in the chat. We got fucking Watch Nick.
Oh yeah, they've been chilling, man. They've been here the whole show.
Yo, Nick.
We got the Tudor Royal. So this is a shout out to Birminghard. I don't know if it was Bear Clooney who convinced him to buy this watch or whatever. Tudor
Oh,
Royal, yeah,
good lord.
Tudor Royal. Not your typical Tudor that you expect. Very interesting that they make this watch. Like, why do you think they even fucking make this watch? I don't get it.
God damn. It's a day wannabe, I guess. I don't know. That's the used cars salesman watch, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, they just wanted to make something that kind of mimicked a model that Rolex did. What it kind of looks like.
Dirk Diggler, Tenno, you see your protege's title of his show. In case you haven't, here it is. How does Tanzil and Archie manipulate behind the scenes? Tell all. Don't know who my protege is, but I thought my protege was Kelsowitz, man. I thought he's been following the footsteps of old Patek Philippe with the 5212 and the 5320. I'm
drinking
happy.
the Kool-Aid. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah, no, Dirk. I don't know which channel that is, but drop it in the chat, and I'll give you some context on the drummers. The drummers. How do we manipulate behind the scenes? I mean, I'm on here talking to fucking Tudor Royals, man. So you can tell me how I manipulate behind the streams, but that's all good behind the scenes. Tudor Royal guys, I don't get it, man. Like it's very very strange that that's the case. You know, Tudor Royal. Why this even exists in the brand? Like, because Mikey, you were talking about FX, you're talking about Pelagos, we were talking about Blancpain. Like, these are very, tool watches, right? Like you were saying, Tudor tool watches. I don't really understand where this is, right? Like,
yeah, I was actually being pretty specific about the version 1 Pelagos because I'm not real hip on the FX or the latest version. But in relation, as far as your analogy goes, I don't know. This just looks like kind of like they're trying to look like a day date, right? A two-tone day date.
You know what? Maybe like even like kind of like the old oyster quartz and
there's no such thing as a two-tone day. That's the problem.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really.
You're right. It is trying to be a day, but it's just like out in the woods, like.
It does not speak. It doesn't speak to me.
It's the black swan. The black swan.
The black swan.
Hey, you know what? Like if you're a baller, right, collector, and this piqued your interest for 48.50, I think it probably has no problem selling. Probably think there's people that are like, I'll bite, and. Yeah,
it's a very because you know what I mean. Like a lot of these brands have like kind of these like stepping stone watches. Like you buy one to get another. I'm like, what fucking like stepping stone watches this and two? Like, what the fuck are you trying to get with this? Like, I don't know. Look, there is
the kind of shit you walk into that pawn shop in the middle of nowhere and they have like all these shitty watches. Like this is the kind of shit you find in there.
Not to completely shit on Tudor because we do have. Some putters, especially one, Mr. Tudor to you, I think his name is. I think that guy has like every Tudor or like a lot of the models of Tudors. So, I'm sure he would chime in on why he owns the Tudor Royal. Birminghard, I think, either owned one or owns one. I'm not sure. It's a very strange, it's a very strange piece to it. So everyone's kind of making fun of the two-tone date. I'm actually going to break a bit of a myth here for you guys. There is actually a two-tone date. Saad and I covered it last year. I think Saad had a couple of copies of.
There you go. True.
Yeah, but they're very rare though. There's like I think like 3 or 4. Like it wasn't a lot of them.
Good to know.
Yeah. It was like because when you look up two-tone date, it's going to be like they didn't exist. There are like a handful. I don't know if they were special orders or I don't know what they were. Saad knows about it, but there are some. People are more familiar with like the Tridors or just your standard date. But this one is, I guess like you guys were saying, maybe to make a two-tone date or to do whatever. But Scratchy says check out the Tudor Glamour. Yeah, I've seen this one. Double date barn doors. Yeah, I mean Tudor had some real stinkers. And I think a lot of folks like to forget the past of some of them, like the Iconaut and the Hydronaut and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just really, really, really strange behavior from the brand. Like, I really don't get it, man. But yeah, it's really kind of fucked up. Two-tone Tudor, fuck me that exactly. like who the fuck is buying a two-tone Tudor? Like, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to I try to piece it together, Kelslowitz. It's like, these brands are here to make money. They're trying to make a profit, and I just fucking don't get it with this watch. What else? Well, they have other like obscure collections. Like they have the I think the Monte Carlo is still like around. Is it still around? The Monte Carlo, Black Bay, Claire de Rose. It's not listed.
Bro, it's interesting now because I think about like the concept of like why they came up with this, and this is like many other brands too. It's like too many SKUs, and it's like, what are they trying to do? Like, obviously they're trying to sell more watches, but why can't they just sell more watches with what they have? Like, they're trying to like find more people to sell to, like create a wider audience, but it's like, is that actually working by creating so many different options? Like, look at how Patek did it with the Cubist, like 3 models, like boom. Like, yeah, there'll be more later, but like, this is what you get for now. And it's like, why don't they do that with more brands? Like, just like 2 or 3, keep it simple, and just try and sell. Why is the strategy to create more models?
Look,
I don't understand it.
I understand the strategy of like separating kind of the entry tier, and then Rolex. This is why Scratchy's comment here is really curious because, when you're talking about a watch that's like kind of rolled gold or like not solid, 18 karat gold, even if it's two-tone, I really kind of ask the why. Like, I like people are still buying Tudor because they perceive Tudor as a luxury item. So when you enter into rolled gold or capped gold or other things that Rolex and Tudor have done in the past, it's just like, is that really what the consumer wants today? Is like not only like, I mean, it's already funny that it's a two-tone and people could assume it's 18 karat solid gold, whereas like when you say it's rolled gold, it's like it's even cheaper. I just don't see it, right? I get they want a cheaper, more affordable luxury piece, but I don't see that as fucking luxury at all. Like, I don't know. It's very, very confusing with Tudor, guys. Very confusing for me. I really don't get it. But Tudor Advisor, titanium aluminum. Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of different Tudors out there. But in today's day and age, most people see Tudor and they see like Black Bay, Black Bay Chrono, Black Bay Ceramic, FXD, Pelagos, Black Bay, Claire de Rose. This is like one lineup, and then Black Bay. It's like the Black Bay. Why did they even call themselves Tudor? Why the fuck don't they just call themselves Black Bay? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Canuck Watch Collector has a good little comment there. That's a good point. They got to fill up the case. They're appealing to the masses.
They're selling for the public and not necessarily watch enthusiasts. They need the variety for the store in the mall. Yeah, I mean, a fair point, I guess, Canuck Watch Collector. I think it's difficult because, I mean, I don't know. I don't really see a ton of Tudor I see it, but like, I don't see it as prevalent out there to be a mass market type of a thing. And therefore, how do you even get the brand out, right? Like, and often there's Tudor shops that aren't even affiliated with the Rolex. They don't have a Rolex authorized dealership, right? They're just Tudor. And, they're going to try to sell the story of, oh, it's a Rolex, right? Again, it's not a great sales pitch like when you walk into the mall. And therefore, I don't know. I don't really see that royal. I mean, Kelslowitz is a younger guy, looks at it and is like, ew, like, what the fuck were they thinking from a design perspective? So I really, some of them just don't make sense for me as a consumer. Pete Cars, a 550. Do you think they should have made the monochrome Black Bay 41 a 39? I'll pull up the monochrome Black Bay 41.
Probably.
Let's pull it up. Look.
No.
There's always going to be this like debate between the 41 and the 39s, right? Like, it's like Archie. Archie is like a big fan of the Black Bay in its original format in the 41, but a lot of people love the 58 because it's in 39, and it's just a better size for it, right? Mike says no because Mike likes the bigger watches. I say yes because I think 39s are sometimes better fits on Tudors for it, but that's just me. Acquired taste is 41. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I think that's very, very subjective. I saw Tudor boutique, nice displays, but tons of filler watches. All right.
Different strokes, right?
Joe Bling, he's taking a mental health break today. That was Archie's stance. I'm going to be taking Mondays off as a mental health break. And that's really going to round off the show, guys. 2 hours on the stream. I wanted to give a big shout. Mikey, you're beeping, by the way.
Oh shit!
So you should get that looked at.
Thank you very much. Man.
Yeah, man. I want to give a shout out to Kelsowitz. Thank you so much for joining me. Mike the Snake, the legend. Appreciate you always joining the panel. I know the producer Mark's probably going to do a show around 9 p.m. I think at Central time. So check that out. I think he's going to talk like cars, watches, all that kind of bullshit. On it, don't really know what's happening afterwards. I just thought I'd give you guys 2 hours. I'm gonna get some fucking dinner. Kelso, Mike, any final words from you guys? Any final thoughts for the crowd?
Thank you so much, Tan, for doing this. I think if it continues, Monday might be a real fun day for something different to throw in each week.
Yeah, like anybody's, everyone's, obviously welcome to hop on, direct the conversation, whatever. Yeah, I put watches, drama, and disappointment, right? Like, I knew that it could just go either way, and yeah, it's for me, it's always fun, man. It's always dynamic. It's always fun with the chat, and appreciate everybody, joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Archie's gonna be back.
Hey Tan, how do you present? How do you bring shit up on the? You just press present.
Yeah, you just click present, and then you share screen while you want to bring something up.
Well, if it's Mikey and I, we're gonna have to come up with something. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, you want to stay on the stream? If is that what you guys wanted to do?
Oh yeah, kill it.
No,
That's fine. I'll talk to Mikey off the stream.
Okay, sorry guys. Sorry to everybody in the crowd. I think the boys are gonna go. I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace out. Take care. And we'll see you guys next time.
Kessowitz, I'll stay on if you want.
Yeah.